thanks, Molly, for coming on today's podcast. And just a brief intro. I said off camera, it feels like I've known you forever.
Yeah.
It's the first time we're meeting today, but we've been talking, obviously,
for
a long time.
Yeah.
And obviously, we're in the same industry. Names also sort of moves around, doesn't it? And you being a QS as well, I have seen your name pop up on different pages and stuff on LinkedIn, so you're quite active. Do you want to give me a bit introduction about yourself then?
Yeah, so obviously my name is Molly Gallagher. I'm a QS, predominantly working in the mechanical and electrical services field at the moment. My history into construction started with a bricks and sticks QS, so I've had pretty much of a broad variety of QSing styles. Yeah, and at the moment I'm working full-time for evaluation consultants.
All right. So consultancy in construction then, for a layman, for a young person, for someone that doesn't know that much about built environment.
Yeah.
How does consultancy in the industry work?
So consultancy works by predominantly with, if we're talking about QSs, I can explain that more easier. So in the QS side of the industry, you normally have professional QSs, which are client-based, and you'll have contracting QSs. Right. So myself, I'm a contracting QS, which means I work for the consultancy, then get seconded into a client environment. That client could be a main contractor, it could be a subcontractor, and it could be a sub-subcontractor.
Right, okay.
And that is accessible through this consultancy that has this large networks of clients and different sectors within the industry. So if you have a particular niche that you like to get into or a particular interest, that's what consultancy is really good for, because it can drive you into that niche sector that you want to go into. PQSing is a professional QS, and that's when you work for the client. So you'd either work for the end client or you'd work for the developer. And predominantly PQSing means you're predominantly working in the office. You're not site-based.
All right.
So that's the difference between the two.
Oh, okay. So for anyone out there that you think just being a QS is pretty much working with main contractors, no, it cuts across. You can be a QS even under a subcontractor with the clients themselves or main contractors. So that's another intel for you. So coming back to, again, off camera, you mentioned you're 26?
Yeah, I'm 26, yeah.
How do you know so much? You have such an experience and knowledge of the industry for a 26-year-old. So talk me through your pathway then.
Yeah.
How did you get into what you're doing now?
So it started, it would be 11 years ago.
What?
Yeah.
So you'd be, if my maths is correct, you're probably, how old then?
15. Yeah.
How?
So it came to, obviously you're doing your GCSEs. I'd chosen my subjects. My subjects were art, textiles, DT. No construction related subjects available at the school I went to. And that is obviously quite common. But I did have the fortunate experience of a lot of my family's working in construction. So I grew up knowing about project management. I grew up knowing about site management, carpentry, etc. So I was fortunate enough to know what roles were available. And then when it came to sort of working out what I want to do, and I thought, I really don't want to do A-levels. And I think for me, I was diagnosed dyslexic when I was 12. So I kind of struggled with the academic side of schooling. And A-levels seemed like quite a daunting thing for me to go through. I started discussing with career advisors what other opportunities are there available to me. Apprenticeships were never discussed as an option at school. It was something that I had to go away and do my own research on. Speaking to family members, speaking to people in the construction industry. And the reason why construction sort of stuck out to me as a potential role or an opportunity I could see myself in is because of the diverse roles and skills that are required. What I did basically, I had a mind map and I wrote all my skills, all my hobbies, and I did a little mind map and I thought, what jobs could I do? And then I started Googling all the different jobs in construction, seeing what skills and knowledge you need for those particular roles.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't want to ramble, but basically I looked up engineering and I thought, oh, I could do that. Like I quite like maths, I quite like design, I quite like the technical side. And then I saw, oh, I'm going to have to do a lot of exams. And I thought maybe let's step back and look at other roles that are available. Then quantity surveying, I looked into that and I thought, oh, yeah, you need to be personable, talking to people quite a lot. You need to have also a good sense of justice. You have to be interested in the topics that you're obviously talking about in QSing. So that was the role that stuck out to me the most. And I applied for 200 positions when I was 15, not realising that you had to be 16.
Wow.
So that's how my journey in construction started. I'd finished my exams, and you have that period, don't you, when you finish your GCSEs where you're waiting on your results. And I'd contacted all of these South London companies, construction companies, saying, is there anything I can do? And I started with a company called HA Marks. They took me on when I was 16, and I started off in the office helping with invoices. So like filing the invoices away, running around the office. They had QS teams, project managers, and I was saying, is there anything I can do? Anything. Literally, I will file for you. I will anything. Just
putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I was putting myself out there because I wanted to be in that environment, and I was learning every day just by hearing them talk amongst themselves. Got my GCSE results, and I did surprise myself. I did quite well, and I wasn't expecting it because my last year of school was a bit of a troublesome time. So I was really impressed, and then went to them and said, look, I've got my results. Would you consider putting me on an apprenticeship? And they said, well, we have to wait till September. Wait till you get your birthday, obviously, because I wasn't of the age to start an apprenticeship. And that came around. I came knocking on the manager's door and was like, what about that apprenticeship then? Are we gonna go? Can I do it? Can I do it? And he was like, well, you're working in the office. I was basically an admin assistant at this point. The first 3-4 months of working there. And he said, well, what apprenticeship do you want to do? And I went, I want to be a QS, like all of those guys sitting over there, all in their nice suits and chatting away and going off for lunch. I said, I want to do exactly what they're doing. And he said, yeah, okay, if you can manage it. We haven't taken apprenticeships on before, apprentices. So we've never gone through this process. We don't know what we need to do. If you could take that away and research it for us, we'll happily put you on the apprenticeship. So that's what I did. I went and rang all the colleges, find out how I actually get on an apprenticeship. And that's how I started. Yeah, quite young.
I picked on something then. You mentioned you were going through, it was quite a trying time in that period. Was there anything that could have held you back from actually putting yourself out there? Because speaking with young people, maybe going on careers fair, because I tend to network quite a lot. I tend to attend events and career fairs and things like that. And what I found is talking to young people sometimes, especially when they've got things going on at home, and then they've got the exam period, they've got that stress level there.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, they're trying to find a role in the labour world.
Yeah.
It can be quite difficult, even though for us looking from outside in, we're thinking they're not doing enough. You know?
Yeah.
So was there anything that could have held you back at that point?
In terms of I felt like I was being held back, to be honest, predominantly from the school. So I feel that was holding me back in my sort of endeavours, because I was very strong-headed 15-year-old girl. I was very outspoken. And I thought I was done with school. I thought, why am I here? I had quite a bad attitude at school, unfortunately. Like the first few years, I was really enthusiastic. And then obviously that enthusiasm started to dip. I was at an all-girls school. It's quite religious. Nothing wrong with that. Obviously, I loved it. But I just think my enthusiasm for education started to fade as I got older.
School is not for everyone.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Some people thrive better on site, on the field, learning hands-on, as opposed to sitting in class and writing things or
Yeah.
the theory side of things. It's different for
Mm-hmm.
everyone. But how then did you sort of, okay, so in this school circle, what sort of support would you say you got from school then?
I didn't actually have that much support from school. So I had quite a lot going on in my home life at the time. And the school obviously knew I was dyslexic. So they were trying to help me with concessions. They were trying to be supportive in that way, but they weren't putting me through the right assessments for my dyslexia. Or I now know my neurodivergency.
Right.
So that could have been more supported by the school environment, but I think the resources weren't there, the finance wasn't there.
That's always an issue, isn't it?
Yes, and unfortunately, like, they supported me in the best way they could by giving me those concessions, but I think ultimately if something was there, like the neurodivergency that I've been diagnosed with, I think I would have been more fully supported by the education system.
Yeah.
And I might have actually stayed in education a bit longer. And would have, because I did my degree online, for example, I kind of separated myself from education from my high school experience. So I think if that support was originally there, I would have enjoyed it more and would have actually, like, probably pushed myself a bit more and revised a bit more and had a bit more enthusiasm. Like,
and probably the confidence as well that you can do it if the support was there, and there would have been a reason for you to stay within school. Right, okay. So coming out of that, because you mentioned you're from a girls-only school, my daughter is from a girls-only school as well. And
she knows how it feels.
Yes. So hence my question now. So how have you found it then, since then? From a girls-only school, then straight into a male-dominated industry and thriving at it. How have you found that then? And what's your journey been?
To be honest, so I've got a bit of background. I've got 3 brothers.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so I think and predominantly, there's a lot of males in my family, a lot of strong males in my family. And very supportive males. So I think I had that background as well, where I've always been supported by males in the family. And I think going into a male environment, it didn't scare me when I was that age. Because I think at that point, I'd probably had enough of being with all these girls at school gossiping. And I wanted to be an adult. I thought I was an adult at 15. So being thrown into an adult environment, I really pushed myself to be professional and be mature. And I think that's why I didn't really get the whole, like, pub culture, things like that happened in the workplace. That's completely different to being in my nice little only girls school environment. Do you know what I mean? It's completely different. And I think you just adapt quite quickly. You adapt to the environment you're in, and I try to just make friends, and obviously that is also quite hard.
You seem like a natural people's person anyway, so I'm not surprised that you find it easy to sort of, navigate, and having 3 brothers and all that must have helped as well.
Yeah.
But as you know, obviously the industry is always set in our ways, aren't we? So when it comes to women within the industry, in different sectors, different areas, whether we're talking housing, sustainability, retrofitting, civil engineering, general creating infrastructures that fit for purpose, whichever area we find ourselves as women.
Yeah.
What has your experience been in terms of organization, internal culture when it comes to diversity and inclusion then?
So my experience, I haven't been really involved with, obviously, any employment procedures in companies, which I would like to be. That's something I would sort of like to get involved with, especially when it comes to diversity and inclusion, how we can further implement that within businesses.